Hi, my name is Walter Ryce. I'm a writer at the Monterey County Weekly, and I'm glad to have here as my guest on the show today, Ed Leeper. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
My pleasure.
You were talking about how, as a paratrooper, you used to take your jump pay and do what with it?
I took my jump pay, this was 1968 at Fort Bragg, and bought art books and catalogs with it. I was single, so I could do that. And I did that for, well, let's see, the 2 years I was with Special Forces as a personnel officer. I wasn't trained for forces training. I was support special. Although I did jump. I had a jump position. I parachuted. Fortunately, I like to do that. If nothing else, because my name is Leeper. Funny.
Can you talk about the moment, and you seem to have pinpointed it to a specific day where you started doing art?
We were off in New York to the Museum of Modern Art. I think it was a Paul Klee show, retrospective. He's one of my favorites. To see that, and then I wanted to go down to Washington to see the memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, because it's a work of art. Well, I was looking at that because I wanted to, there were some people on there who I knew, 2 or 3, and from Nam. And so I found out that what you do, people come there like me, they were veterans there, or next of kin, people have on there died, and they leave things. So I thought, I want to leave a small stone, granite stone from Bixby Creek, just before Bixby Creek hits the Pacific Ocean. And I did that. I found a stone. I found a stone, and left it there under one of the guys. But I looked at all this. 58,000 people are on there, and I suddenly thought, what would 6 million? Suppose the memorial was made just like this, with the names of the 6 million Jews who were murdered by the German government in World War II. I was thinking it would go all the way down to the Capitol, down the mall to the Capitol, because the Vietnam Memorial is right up next to Lincoln Center. So I'm in Lincoln Memorial. So that at least go all the way down to the Capitol. And then there it was, Eureka, I'm going to find out. I'm going to make 6 million marks. Boom, boom, boom. I bought papers about the size of Moses tablets, heavy paper. It took me about as long as it took the German government to murder 6 million Jews, 2.5 years about. And then I want to show it. Where can I show it? I said, well, I'll show it at college art galleries. So I went to Hartnell, and he immediately says, we're booked for a year, but you should, how about trying the library? So I went to the library, and they could show it right then and there. It was a library display, so that's what I did. I showed it there, and then I ended up, after a period of a couple of years, I showed it at 23, I think it was 23 libraries, universities and colleges from Central California, from UC Sacramento down to UC Santa Barbara.
And it also seems like in a lot of your work that there's a pretty strong element of activism and maybe even political confrontation. So how do you incorporate that into, how do you turn that into art?
I did the Grim Reaper, just dressed as a Grim Reaper, and stood along and just stood at prominent places on the highway. The turnoff on Carmel Hill, where the freeway ends. People would stop and thank me for doing it. And then I had a fellow stop, and he just stopped. He had a pickup, not unlike mine. He had a pickup. He drove up to my side, and then he gunned, and this was in gravel. I'm standing in gravel. So he drives up right next to me, and then he guns it, and all this gravel hits me from all the way up and down. And what was interesting, it didn't hurt at all, nothing. But I I said, well, it's working. And when something like that happened, I liked it because it's working. I got somebody's attention.
You had for many years, 26 years, you say, that truck that I think a lot of people here associate with you, and you use the truck for public artworks
and what I would do, I'd do different works up there. About half of it was political and half art, and I'd paint it different colors. It's been painted. I started counting, and there was 8 different colors. Yeah, where it was really needed was liquid books. As a result of the truck, probably because I had that truck, I suddenly had an idea about 7 or 8 years ago that I'm going to give books away. I'll give books away, and I'll have a bookmobile, just like the library has. And I'll build bookcases and put them around the back in the cab of the pickup. And I did that, and it was very successful. I went to the library, and they gave me books, and secondhand stores did, and I did that for a long time, and I would have it at the farmer's market at MPC.
So you've had a long and really varied and pretty intensive life of creating this art and sharing it with people. What's it done for you, and what does it give you?
The first time I heard the term self-esteem, I thought, oh, does that sound, oh, that sounds so phony, self-esteem. And well, now I don't think that's the case. I now feel that way about myself, because in the past I was a failure in life. I barely graduated from high school, then a clerk for a while, not going on with no future, and then the military. I was very successful in the military, in promotion and working up in the job, but I hated it all the time, and was never what I wanted to do. So I never had any self-esteem. I suddenly realized that's what I didn't have. Well, what the art has done to me is giving me self-esteem. I was just going through all the stuff, all the works I've done. I'm going through it. I just went through a lot of the folders in preparation for this, and I haven't done it for a long time. And I've gone through it at the end of it, and I've said, "This is good."
Sounds like a good feeling to me, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people who.
Well, I bet you have it too.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of people who you've touched, inspired, and turned on in some way, and I think a lot of people appreciate what you've done, and looking forward to more.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Ed, for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
All right, mine too.